In this video, we really are turning it up a notch. It's the E65 BMW 7 Series. Controversial, packed with technology. Grab a brew, because I think this might be a long one. So yeah, the controversial BMW 7 Series E65, designed by American Chris Bangle during a rather infamous phase at BMW. It has to be said, when this car came out, I thought it was absolutely gopping, hideously ugly. I didn't get this weird sort of ducktail boot get-go. I didn't really understand what this is all about. Well, the rear lights are quite pretty, but yeah, it didn't push my buttons. I thought it was a bit of a horror of a car, but it must be said, I think time has been very kind to the E65, and now I look at it and I think maybe this isn't so bad. You will notice, look, 760, this is the biggest engine you could get. This is the V12, and I must say I've sat in it for all of about 5 minutes, and it's going to take us several hours just to go through all the buttons. There are some truly enormous disc brakes lurking behind these enormous wheels. What size are these wheels even? I'm trying to see the tyre size. Massive is what they are. I think we've got some Dunlop Sports on the back. You want some decent rubber on this old thing. Yeah, 19-inch wheels, 275s on the back. It is a mightily impressive car, and compared to the E38, which was very much an evolution of what had gone before, the E32, which again was an evolution of the E23, really, this feels very, very different, and that continues when you get inside. But first of all, I think we'll take a peek at the V12 engine, because it would seem rude not to. Oh, the doors, by the way, I've got the old soft closure, if you just nice and gentle with them, so that all still works fine. I just noticed a little strut down here. Have we got a bonnet pull on this side? We have, thank you BMW. Continentals don't always give us the benefit of a bonnet release on that side. Oh, there we go, yeah. A little hook comes out there. There we go. And there isn't a mighty V12 engine. I haven't done my homework, I haven't got the power figures, so I'll insert the power figures about here, and I'm going to say it's fairly considerable amounts of power, I would imagine. I mean, you can't get at anything. I'm not really sure why I came under here. It must be fun to work on, because yeah, you can't get at anything. I imagine you can take covers off and life improves somewhat, but we have got the wiper carryover. Look at this, we've got the clever wiper mechanism carried over from the E38 BMW. I'm going to see if I can activate said wipers for your amusement. Oh, we might as well start the engine while we got the bonnet open. The key, I think, goes in that way, and then, oh, I haven't got my foot on the brake, it's not going to start the engine. There we go, silky smooth. Right, if I drop the window, that sounds like a lot of engine to me. Let's try and do the wipers. There you go, look at that eccentric mechanism. It's just a fascinating thing to behold. And just give the look at that, we've got good overlap going on over there, no triangle of doom. We've got range sensitive wipers as well. And wipers, they seem to be on a toggle by this little stalk here. So let's try and turn them off, and there we go, they have parked up nicely. But yeah, you can't hear a lot going on there, can you? Very quiet. This grille feels very flimsy, which is why I'm a bit reluctant to lift on it. That's not quite the quality you expect given the rest of the car. Oh dear, look, it's dribbling everywhere. That's bad times. Have we got a flick? Oh, that's more wash. Oh, I didn't mean to do more wash, but we'll look at it anyway. Oh, and another squirt as well. Why did he give it an extra squirt? I don't know. Yeah, such marvellous mechanism, and they do actually park down as well. So when you turn them off, they do park lower down. So that's sort of interesting if that's what you're into. Right, we shall jump aboard, and I shall straighten the wheel. There we go. This example has done 132,000 miles, which is quite a lot. But yeah, there's technology abound. We've got the famous iDrive system, so you control the sat-nav via this thing down here. I don't really understand how it works. We've got this gull-wing storage box. I mean, that's quite capacious, isn't it? You've got all sorts there. Remote boot releases hidden in here as well. Look at it. Oh, that's to lock the boot release by the look of it. Have to push those down yourself. Cup holders, even the cup holders have got little slidey grids on. What's down here, I wonder? Oh, that's where your 12 volt power outlet is. That's very nice. In here, a little storage tray again, and in here, BMW phone, and it does actually work, and so you don't have to muck about with that while you're driving. There's a keypad that emerges out of the dashboard here, and yeah, all the good times. CD player, so you can load your CDs in here. Heater controls, although there are more on various menus on the old iDrive. I don't really know what I'm doing with this. Oh look, there we go. That's so we can change the radio stations. Yeah, I think I'm probably just not going to do that. Can we go back to the sat nav, please? Climate control settings. Oh well. Oh yeah, so you can change where everything's going, although there are buttons here to change all that as well. There are buttons all over the steering wheel. This one's quite interesting because it becomes an automatic electronic handbrake. I don't like electronic handbrakes, but still. We've got stalks everywhere. Look, we've got the indicator stalk over here. I don't really know what that means. What does that mean? No idea. Don't know what that means. That's a bit peculiar, but oh, they're toggle indicators. And we've got the headlamp flasher on there as well. We've got the cruise control on a separate stalk down here. It's a push button start. We've got parking sensors over here. We've got the wiper stalk down here, and that's what you use to engage drive. This little stalk here, which you pull towards you and down, and we're now into drive, or push the button for park. Light controls variously down here, electric windows. It's all a bit grubby because this is a well-used car. It's someone's daily driver. Although I suspect that living in Oxford, he probably doesn't do that much daily driving. But it's very nice in here. Some lovely grab handles with a wood inlay. Very, very resty head restraints. Very comfortable seats, it would seem so far. Although I have only sat in here for a matter of moments. But yeah, mostly I don't understand what's going on in here. We've got sport mode for when we're on the road. I suspect that won't be entirely necessary. But yeah, I'll turn the engine off now. And it goes very, very slightly quieter. We should jump in the back because I believe there are even more buttons to play with there. So let's go and have a look. Again, we've got the soft closure on the back as well. That's very nice, so you don't have to slam your doors at all. Jump in. Oh my. Oh, that is very comfortable. Very, very somber with its dark headlining. But we've got a panel of lights up here, map reading lights and various things. And oh, an extra mirror. Does the mirror? Yeah, the mirror does swivel. So you've got a mirror there for doing your makeup. That feels a little flimsy, but good enough. We've got electric seats in the back as well, which you can. Oh yeah. And you change the backrest angle and the lumbar adjustment even. That one seems to be broken. Okay, we've got memory functions as well. A nice capacious cubby hole here, some North Oxford BMW stuff. I mean, it's all very impressive, but I must say the owner of this car also owns the E38 from a previous video. The E38 was so worthless that he decided he might as well just keep it, so he did. And in some ways he prefers the older car. This one has been to the dealers many times back and forth, so the idea of owning one of these myself is not one I necessarily find encouraging. There are extra toys if the sun just gets a bit too much, or you feel like a bit more privacy. There are blinds there. There are blinds on the side windows also. Wow, they're magic. Where did they come from? Oh, sadly it doesn't seem to work on this side, but that one works. Look at that. It's just a bit more privacy, I guess. Oh, and oh my gosh, he's got blinds everywhere. Wow. Oh, I could just sit in here for days and just play with stuff. Forget driving it, I just want to look at the toys. A bit of wood across the back as well. Yeah, it's a pretty nice car, I would say. Does this all fold up? It does. So in theory, that is a third seat. I don't think I would like to sit there though, so I think we're better off having this down. That is the ultimate armrest. That is quite extraordinary. Right, shall we have a peek in the boot then? Jump back out. This is a short wheelbase. The owner specifically wanted it because he doesn't have that much space where he lives. So quite rare to be the V12 with the automatic, with a short wheelbase, sorry. I think if I press that, there we go, because who can be bothered to open a boot themselves these days? And we've got little cubby holders. Oh yeah, that's where your auto changer is, and also documents and a fire extinguisher. But lashing points in the floor, under here. I bet we haven't got a full-size spare. No, we have. Wow, full-size spare, which must be interesting because I imagine it's different sizes front and rear. And another little cubby there with a fuse box. But yeah, very usable amount of space there. And oh, we'll just have a look in here. First aid kit and warning triangle. This is very similar to the E38. And there we go, the original BMW spanners, towing attachment, first aid kit. Lovely. And a warning light, just so people know you've got the boot open. That's quite good. How much does all this weigh? Frightening amounts. Right, I shall get you set up in a camera and we'll take this beauty for a drive. This is not prime hub nut material, but looking at the confusion on my face, should be interesting. The sound of the sat-nav, not the sat-nav, the blower is about all I can hear. Wow. Yeah, the owner does have a BMW warranty and he keeps on paying to extend that, and he says he's made very great use of it, which I can well believe. Yeah, you can't really hear an engine at all. That is just uncanny. I'm going to put it in sport mode. Oh yeah, I felt the suspension firm up there. We've got air suspension on the back. It's also got some hydraulic gubbins going on to make the handling anti-roll, and certainly it doesn't feel like a big old barge, that's for sure. Whoa! Oh my! Oh, that was exciting. It suddenly sounded quite powerful and went like absolute crazy. I guess that's what sport mode does for you. I'm going to put it back into drive. I think I've got buttons here to muck about with steering wheel settings, or not steering wheel, gearbox, to change gear if I'm in manual mode. Let's try and find manual mode. I'm in 5th gear at the moment. Oh, I see, that button makes it go into 6. How many gears are there? 6 apparently. The ride, now we're back in normal mode, is certainly very supple. Try hitting some cat's eyes. Yeah, you can't really feel those. Here's a bad bump. Yeah, I heard it, and I did just about feel it. It's still not the softest car, but yeah, this is very interesting. The only clue I've got that there's an engine is the rev counter keeps moving a bit, but unless you're absolutely nailing it, it basically doesn't make much noise at all. There's a fair bit of road noise from those huge tyres, but that is about it. And the car is certainly a lot less ugly inside. I think this interior is amazing. But I did have a quick look through the computer earlier when I was with the owner, and the average fuel consumption of this car is 18 miles to the gallon, which I guess is not bad for a big V12 engine. But really, I don't see the point of the V12. I'm not sure why you'd go for it. It's just going to guzzle a lot more fuel than the smaller engines. It strikes me it's a bit about bragging rights, but then kind of like the Jaguar V12, it's not until you experience that turbine smoothness of power, that almost electric motor feel, that you kind of really understand what the V12s are all about. If you look on paper, the acceleration figures, I'm sure, are not very different at all. This is the sort of place I didn't expect Hubnut to take me, I think. A bit like driving the Jaguar I-Pace up to Scotland. Yep, certainly not, it's not rolling, is it? Even if I'm punting it in quite hard. I mean, I don't really want to corner any harder than that. Oh my gosh. Whoa! And it just doesn't feel as massive as it is, because this is a big old car. Uncanny. This car was a massive leap forward for BMW. Everyone talked about the looks. I don't think enough people talked about the driving experience. But it ended that evolution of 7 Series. I can't feel any connection to the previous 7 Series models, the various types over the years. Now, I guess it's one of those things, when it comes to looks, we are so easily swayed. And I think when this car came out, people were aghast, because it wasn't a smooth car. The previous 7 Series E38, very smooth styling indeed. And this rather less so. Self-cancelling indicators working well, because the lever doesn't move. It's just a bit uncanny that they just stop. My gosh, what a vehicle this is. The computer, we're doing 30 miles an hour at the moment, and the computer is reckoning we're doing slightly under 20 on the live economy figures. But I imagine I can get that to go completely off the chart, because there's a 50 limit coming up, but it won't take very long to get there. I do feel I would need a very qualified child. Fortunately, I have access to them these days, to operate the iDrive system for me, though, because I don't know what's going on here. I should have brought the whole family along for this trip, this test perhaps. So I don't fully understand the hydraulic suspension, but it has kind of got that Citroen Activa style hydraulic control, so it just cancels out the body roll. Similar thing was used by Land Rover on the Discovery 2, called ACE, often removed because it's seen as troublesome, and that's going to be the problem. I drove an E23 BMW in Tasmania, which would have been over 30 years old, and it all worked. It's all simple technology. You know, the fuel injection is the only complicated thing on that car, whereas this car, it's all complicated. And you think if anything starts going wrong, just a bit of cracked solder somewhere is going to play absolute havoc with this car. It's a strange one for me. I like body roll. I don't get why people are so upset about body roll. I find body roll comforting. It lets you know how hard you're pushing on. If you've got no body roll, how do you know if you've gone too far? Generally, you meet the scenery. Well, I should imagine the speed you've got to go in this to smash into the scenery is pretty terrifying. Wow, well, that's a very interesting test drive indeed. I think I've ended up liking the E65 7 Series BMW a lot more than I expected. The main focus points of this car are the looks, which are still a little questionable, perhaps a little heavy, and the technology, the iDrive system. Everyone talks about those, but none of it stops this actually being a really good car to drive. I'm surprised. It feels a lot more live and nimble rather, than you might expect from what is an enormous car. And while the looks are definitely a talking point, they're definitely not going to please everyone, it is the driving experience that shines through. Very, very surprising. Of course, I'm not about to go out and just suddenly buy a BMW 7 Series. I have no idea what these are sort of fetching now, but I bet they're temptingly cheap. But it's looking after cars like this in the future that is going to be so very, very difficult. It feels okay now at 16 years old. This example, it's a 2004. But what's it going to be like in another 10 years? Yeah, I suspect there are horrors ahead, but all you can do for now is just enjoy the experience. So thank you very much to Andrew for letting me have a go in this truly remarkable car. I don't know how we look after the cars like this in the future. That's questions I can't answer, but for the now, that has been a very enjoyable drive. So I shall say thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe before you go, and I shall see you in a future video. Farewell. Twinkle twinkle LEDs.